So, good morning everybody. Oh sure, I should say good afternoon really. 2 years ago, almost exactly 2 years ago, I did a flight, one of my longest ones ever. It was 9,000 miles from Noumea, which is where we are now, in New Caledonia, which is probably, I guess the best way to describe it is to the northeast of Australia and bordering on the South Pacific. So if you imagine leaving Australia and heading northeast from the northeast corner of Australia, you'd hit the New Caledonia island, and this is Noumea, which is on the southern side of the eastern tip. And we normally fly here from Brisbane, and this is basically the stepping off point to all those islands in the South Pacific: Tonga, Fiji, Vanuatu chain, down as far as Easter Island, and eventually to Chile. And that's the route we took, was from Brisbane to Noumea, Noumea to Fiji, Fiji down to Tonga, Tonga to Easter Island, Easter Island to Chile, or Chile, I don't know, whichever way you want to say it. And it ended up being it was a 2 hour and 53 minute video, so one of my longest videos and one of my longest flights, and I really enjoyed it. But we had a problem because it was supposed to have been Noumea to Vanuatu and then Vanuatu to Fiji. And the problem was that Microsoft had decided to not bother doing any of the airfields in Vanuatu. And the whole point of that trip was to honour something my mother was into, which was the musical South Pacific, and the setting of where it was, and of course the famous musical number Bali Ha'i Bali Ha'i is Calling, and the other famous one is Gonna Wash That Man Right Out of My Hair. And the thing was, that was the whole intent of my journey, was to do this. Now that the thing is, the musical, the film musical, they didn't use the real island. The real island is in Vanuatu, and it's off one of the bigger islands is Espiritu Santo. Espiritu Santo, and that island is off the coast of Espiritu Santo. And the guy would sit there on Espiritu Santo beach and look across and see this other island over there. And that was where all the inspiration for this musical came during the Second World War. So it was very disappointing that Microsoft it just failed completely to do any of the airports. And we've just had the Oceania World Update number 13, and hopefully now that they've finally got the airports in, we can do this journey. So I'll give you a quick show. This is a basic outline. We're going to fly from Noumea to Luganville in the A320. Then I'm going to swap over to smaller aircraft, and we're going to fly all around Vanuatu. Vanuatu is all these islands. It's from a bit of people call it a Y shape, but it's not really, because they're more at the top. So there's a tiny chain here, some more here, then the bigger islands, and these two like strip islands, and we're going to follow it all the way down. There are two islands further down over here somewhere. They're really tiny, and they're disputed between New Caledonia and Vanuatu, and possibly the English, maybe the British. The UK's got some sort of claim on them. I have no idea how. But we're going to fly just this bit. I think it's 8 legs altogether, but we're going to play it by ear as usual. So the first leg is once we fly to Luganville, the first leg is going to be Luganville flying around this island, and which is Espiritu Santo, and then flying across to this one, and we're going to then park up at Avire overnight there. or if we can still keep going, we might do the next bit, which is all the way across to the top and the furthest northern islands. Then coming back down, we'll do the smaller islands over to the northeast and end up back at Avire. So leg 1 is to Avire, leg 2 is Avire all the way out and back to Avire. Then leg 3 is Avire down through these long thin islands across to Ambai and then back down. And Ambai is the one which is the island from the musical Bali Ha'i. And the next leg we're going to take is across to this one, back across to Port Vila, and then further down, and then overnighting in Valasdir. Next leg, Valasdir, down through these southern islands and through to Port Vila, which is the capital of Vanuatu. And then we'll overnight there, and then we'll take a flight around Port Vila in the morning, the city or town. And then we'll depart again and head down to the south and finish up with the last 2 legs. So I don't know I can't remember the name of the place there that we're going to stay. But from there we're going to take, this is leg 7, we're going to continue down through the smallest of the bigger islands, and then we're off into the little tiny islands, and we're going to end up finishing on this tiny island and in a wonderful place called Mystery Island. You can't really see it from here, but there's another island, just a tiny island off the coast of that bigger island called Mystery Island, and that's where we're going to finish our journey. So as you can see, 8 legs. Some of them will fly in the same day, some of them we won't. Might take 3 days, might take 4, might take 2. We'll see how we get on. We will of course be dependent on weather, because once again I'm going to fly it with real weather on, which is probably a bad decision. We'll see how we get on. So like I say, this is the final part of a journey that was 2 years ago. 2 years ago I flew to Noumea, and then we started planning this journey, and then I found out these airports just weren't there, none of them. It's just like, what? So we had to just completely miss out on this part of the journey and go straight over here to Fiji, which is over here somewhere. Well, that's not too good. I wanted to request a power truck, but we have no external power, so we'll have to start on the APU.
Magenta Tower France 01 IFR to Santo-Pekoa, ready to copy. France 01 is cleared.
So the only problem we're going to have really is that this aircraft is a bit in the way, and that could be a bit of a problem because we need to taxi down to there, so I don't know how we're going to do this.
Flight attendants, arm doors, and cross-check.
Once again, we'd like to welcome you on board. Your safety is our top priority, so we appreciate a few minutes of your attention while we demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft. You can follow along with the safety information board.
Magenta Ground France 01 with Echo ready to taxi IFR.
Yeah, this place definitely isn't designed for larger aircraft. Oh, there's a bus taking off. It's going to be a bit tight.
.7 for France Alpha Foxtrot 001. Naughty Center France Alpha Foxtrot 001 is at 1,500 feet, climbing 7,000 feet.
France Alpha Foxtrot 001, Naughty Center QNH, 29er.98, continue as planned. France Alpha Foxtrot 001 climb and maintain 16,000 feet.
So, a pretty uneventful takeoff. We had a bit of an issue when the autopilot decided it did not want to climb to 7,000 feet. It in fact wanted to go down to smash into the sea. But we overcame it and everything's back on track. And I guess we'll next speak once we're approaching some sort of Vanuatu island that we might overfly. Or when we go into land. So catch you in a bit. I'm just checking the RNAV to make sure it matches our approach. See, we've got S-band, SS912. So S-band, SS912. SS934 is next. See there, SS934, then SS956. So we're going to fly sort of over the airfield into S-band and then do a left-hand circuit and then drop into runway 12. So we're just passing to the, well, just to the left of the Isle of Malakula. So this one down here. And once we get past that, we're going to be on our descent into our airport. And the airport is Santo-Pekoa, and that's at Luganville, and that's the island there, which is Espiritu Santo. I don't know what these two are called though. I don't know if that's Espiritu Santo with a river there or something, or if this is separate. I have no idea. Can't really go by this map either. I guess they are separate islands there. As I said, we're going to overfly, then fly in a loop and come back in. There is apparently no ILS, so we're doing an RNAV. You can see there we should be down to 2,500 feet by the time we hit S-band. And we'll maintain 2,500 until we get to SS956, which is here, and then we start our... No, sorry, so we start to descend about there, between 934 and 956. It's been quite a while since I've done an RNAV approach, so it might not go according to plan. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. That's 3.4 currently, and as you can see there, we need to be on 2.9 when we're on our finals. So that's 3.4 degrees of descent.
Alpha Foxtrot 001, descend and maintain 2,500 feet.
Descend and maintain 2,500 feet, France Alpha Foxtrot 001.
So we're going to descend now down to our 2,500 feet. We want to make sure that we're at it once we hit that first point on our approach, which is S-band. That's 20 miles just coming into range there. So that's the magic number, is 2.9 once we get past 934. That's 934 there. So once we get to about there, we should be on 2.9. Just using the speed brake to try and get us down to a bit closer to our target speed of 220. And once we overfly S-band, we'll be going down to 200. So all lights are on.
France Alpha Foxtrot 001, you are 3 miles south. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect RNAV runway 12 approach via S-band transition. Clear to S-band.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect RNAV runway 12 approach via S-band transition. Cleared to S-band France Alpha Foxtrot 001.
2,500.
So we're going to maintain 2,500 feet as we turn around our little square to go back in. A little bit of cloud, quite low as well. We should be okay.
Alpha Foxtrot 001 climb and maintain 2,600 feet.
Climb and maintain 2,600 feet, France Alpha Foxtrot 001.
I have no idea why they're telling us to do that. Although there is that 26.
France Alpha Foxtrot 001, descend and maintain 2,500 feet.
Okay, now we're going back down again. Fair enough. So flaps to 1. Speed to manage, gear is down.
France Alpha Foxtrot 001, please acknowledge.
Please prepare for landing.
Climb and maintain 2,500 feet, France Alpha Foxtrot 001.
So all lights are on, seatbelt signs on, and the brakes are auto brake set to medium. Spoiler is armed, flaps to 2. So we're just approaching our final turn-in.
France Alpha Foxtrot 001, you are 9 miles northwest of Santo-Pekoa.
Yes.
France
Oh, that was our
Alpha
clearance,
Foxtrot
was it? Okay.
001.
There's something going wrong with the messages. That's not going to be very good. Okay.
Santo-Pekoa traffic, France Alpha Foxtrot 001, 9 miles northwest inbound, RNAV runway 12.
So we're now going to start our 2.9.
Santo-Pekoa traffic, France Alpha Foxtrot 001 is on final runway 12 to land. Santo-Pekoa traffic, France Alpha Foxtrot 0017 miles northwest inbound, RNAV runway 12.
Flaps to 3. That's our final turn in now. 1600 feet. You can see from that we should be at around 1400, so we're a little bit high. Flaps to full.
1000. 500. 500. 400. 100 above. 300. Minimum. Retard.
Santo-Pekoa traffic France Alpha Foxtrot 001 is clear of the runway.
Yeah, I can't get any ground services on there, that's a bit of a shame. But yeah, we're down, we're safe, everything's going according to plan. Lovely little landing that was. Even if I do say so myself. So time to put the aircraft back into cold and dark. Everybody's off. Okay, well that's the end of that one. Thank you everybody for staying to watch.
Verified?
Yeah, the doors are verified, they are still on, yes. I just don't know how to turn this off now. There we go.